Hello, dreamers. I have a very quite long dream from a couple of years ago that I want to share with you. And there are lots of symbols in it. And at the time, I wasn't super into dream interpretation. And so I can't remember everything that was going on in my head around that time. But yeah, I couldn't interpret it then. And I can't really interpret it now. But I'll try to help you because I want you to see there's a lot of details in what I wrote down and how that can kind of shoot you in the foot. Sometimes you need details, but sometimes you put too many details down and you need to just go, was it really important describing what I could describe in 1 sentence, sorry, in 7 sentences, especially if you just deep down, like think about deep down, was this part of like was this a significant part of the dream? And your gut will most likely tell you, or God will tell you, but you'll think it's your gut, that yeah, this is significant, write it all down, or it's not. So anyhow, here goes the dream. um so I was in the Queen's Palace. So remember, I wrote this in 2017. And what I was doing at the time was, my daughter's into the Queen and got me more into paying attention to our Queen, the Queen Elizabeth and the second. And I kind of already was. Before, she was just like, she was somebody that was part of history, part of our life, part of Canada, something in Canada, and I think of her a lot more. But anyway, now, so, and at the time I was also working at a sexual assault center. That sounds like that's a crazy name, but we obviously did counseling. I am a counselor. So I was in the Queen's Palace, but I think that it was in Saskatoon, her palace, instead of England. But and I don't recall actually seeing the Queen. I'm sure I'm sure in my dream I thought she was there, but I don't remember seeing her. And I was with a group of people, mostly women, and we were going to a gala or something like that at the Queen's Castle. And so were lots of other people that we didn't know. And I'm reading this word for word because I want you to really get the details that I wrote down, that I actually wrote. And there were lots of castle officials, some dressed like English guards that stand outside Buckingham Palace. And I felt thrilled to see all of that traditional type stuff. So I think, anyway, I don't know if I was always, but I was in the whole time. I don't know if the whole time I went to that was at the party, I had been in this, but I was in a section. What I remember is that I was in a gorgeously sexy red dress. The front wasn't high necked, but it wasn't revealing either. It was about 4 length and it was not poofy, but it was pretty form fitted. And I not like skin tight, but it was fairly form fitted. And that was great. That's the kind of dress I like in real life. The back was showy, and especially before I got so many love handles, which I would have said I had in 2017 as well, not just now. I liked showing off my back. So otherwise though, so other than a few straps on the back, it was pretty much open at the back. My back looked really awesome. My backbone wasn't sticking out to the point of looking underweight, but you could definitely not see any fat on my back. I got lots of passing compliments and I felt stunning. And do you think, what would a red dress to you in a dream mean? What would that signify? Because especially someone that sees it's just like a stunning red dress and it's the person in it is stunning, maybe made stunning by it. It's just something you notice. So then I walked out of the castle and changed into black, I think. Black sweats and a nondescript black tank top. Later, it came to mind that it was only the end of February, but it was really warm walking out of the castle. Like there was no snow, which isn't normal in Saskatchewan, believe me. And everything seemed pleasant. The temperature really seemed nice. I walked out of the castle. So the castle was, well, just the doors that I walked out of. I'll explain it more in my details up here. But the castle doors that I walked out of, about 50 meters from there, I reached a big outdoor staircase, kind of like the one going to the temples of the Mayan ruins. So if you can picture, like if you've ever heard of the Flay Master, I think he's called, who like skinned people alive, is some kind of horrid legend. And I don't read things like that very often, but I did once or twice in the past. And so if you're familiar with what the Flame Master is, you can probably picture or imagine a Mayan temple. But if you ever see an Aztec kind of ruins, that's what it was like. And they have steps going up to them on ziggurats. I think they're called ziggurats. Those kind of temples. They're flat. They're not the same as pyramids in Egypt. I climbed the stairs and I don't remember exactly what I saw. So I got to the top. Don't remember what I saw exactly, but something gave me a feeling that I wrote this down, that in the next day, I had a feeling that it was kind of like the Saskatoon University campus. There were stone fountains and benches and other outdoor structures that you'd expect at a campus. And I had cancer in real life when I was a baby. And I went to the Saskatoon University Hospital, Royal University Hospital, a lot. After that, following up with chemotherapy and everything. And it always gave me this kind of feeling. It wasn't terrible, even though cancer is terrible. It was kind of almost a feeling of home. I liked being in the hospital. That's all. I was used to that right from the beginning of my life. So besides that, used to the hospital, Royal University Hospital in Saskatoon, which looks like and is very close to the university campus, Saskatoon University, or the University of Saskatchewan is actually the actual name. But anyway, I went to the University of Saskatchewan from the time I was 18 till I was 20, and I have really good memories of it, and something about being there makes me feel safe and carefree. So it's not about, I don't think, whenever I think about the campus, about the university, some people would say university, books, and studying, whatever. That's not usually what I think about. Although deadlines are kind of scary. And sometimes when I think of the university, I think of, oh, thank goodness I don't have to go to university and have deadlines anymore. But it's generally a feeling of safety and some good history. So I noted walking underneath a stone gazebo thing like Mom has outside her house, her pergola. I didn't write pergola on here. And with her plants hanging on. Kind of like that. It had ivy trellises coming off of it. I looked at the ground and saw clumps of little green foliage, with bunches of little yellow flowers. That's when I noted. So, okay, that a significant symbol? Foliage and flowers. I don't know. I don't think that's something that I don't picture yellow flowers on green foliage in my life. Like, that doesn't make me think of some particular thing. But do you have any idea what that means in dreams? Does it have a significance? Because there are certain symbols that, while most people, like I was saying with the university, can dream about a university, and it most likely, for most people, they'll think about studying. And so if you dream of university, some people will say that automatically means studying. Not for me, it doesn't. So it is subjective to the person. But in general, a symbol of, let's say, flowers, what does that mean? That's when I noted how out of character it was, like I had noted before, for February, for there to be flowers and all of that. Then I went back to the staircase. I started climbing down. It was pretty steep, and each stair was quite narrow. About 15 stairs from the bottom, I saw something black below me a few more stairs down. When I got to it, in about 5 more stairs, I saw that it was something like a Darth Vader helmet. I put it on my head. While doing so, I could see the castle below and the open doors of the Gala Castle room. The doors were French doors. So this is where I'm stepping outside of what I wrote for a second. I'm going to explain what it looked like, because I can picture this castle in my head. It wasn't a castle. It wasn't like Buckingham Palace. It was like a great big quadrangular looking house, or kind of like a parallelogram, but a parallelogram house. It had kind of, the feel you get of more of a Mexican casa. If you have, when it's a metal shingled roof, and how what they kind of look like bamboo. They're made to look like bamboo. It was kind of like that. I forget if looked like bamboo, but I think it was a metal roof, and it was just one story that I could. I think so. Anyway, it's just one story, and these French doors on one side of the house. I forget which direction. Maybe the north side of the house. The French doors were open, kind of like you see at other parties that they leave. They have a building that the party's in, and then you open, and then the French doors on the building are open, and people mill around outside the castle. Well, that's kind of what it was like. I went through the French doors of this bungalow, quadrangular, parallelogram-ish building, which was a castle, but it didn't look like what we think of as a castle, really. And when I went out of there were people milling right by the doors, but I went about 50 meters till I got to that ziggurat, and there wasn't really anybody, about 50 meters away from the palace. So that's what I was seeing so I saw the attendants when I was coming down the ziggurat now. I saw the attendants with trays and guests in dress apparel walking in and out of the castle. Then I slipped with the helmet still on down the last few steps, approximately 5 or 6 steps. It never hurt. When I started falling, some of the attendants looked up and saw me. At the bottom, I got up with the helmet still on and walked towards the French doors and towards the people. I think they recognized me as the person that had been in the red sexy dress. I wasn't as fancy as before, but I still looked pretty good. My hair was straight. That's in real life, as you can see, my hair, and I've combed it, so it's much less curly than it usually is. It's very curly, and sometimes I like it straight. And my husband really likes it when I straighten my hair. And I know I'm sounding like I'm telling you a lot of crazy details, but you can see why maybe part of the reason I write a lot of details. I still looked good. My hair was straightened. I remember I went back into the castle. I went through the French doors, and at first I was self-conscious because I was in a tank top and sweats. Soon, though, I started mingling and having fun. The end. So there are a lot of symbols. There's that university campus. There's a helmet. What was I wearing this helmet for? Why was there a ziggurat? What did that signify? Why was I at the Queen's palace? And what was the red sexy dress? Those are just a few of the symbols that I don't know what they mean, even though they're in my dream. And I told you kind of which of those symbols do have significance to me in my mind. But and the flowers even. Was that just a detail that maybe I shouldn't have wrote down? Because doing this again, I probably wouldn't have written that down. I probably wouldn't write it down. It would seem kind of pointless to me, but should I have written that down? And is that obviously like, oh, somebody, you dream about flowers? We know it. This is what it means. And so what are your thoughts? So I want to get an idea for you to have about when you write down your own dreams. Should you do it like I did it here? That's assuming you have the same kind of dreams with as much detail in them as I have. And if you have any ideas about this dream or any comments, I'd love to hear them. So please, please, please subscribe and let us be connected through that. That would be kind of cool. Bye.